The opinions and views expressed in this video do not reflect the views of HTT Media Group. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's going on out there, Silsibee land? This is Josh Marble, your host for tonight. Every time we're on, but you'll notice my co-host isn't here, Justin. He had to work.
I knew it was coming.
Even though our motto here is a job ain't nothing but work.
That's right.
We always say. But anyway, I know it's been like in the December month. We've been back and forth with me being absent, him being absent. We're going to get together here pretty quick. He's been working a lot. He's been taking on some extra stuff. Everybody's had some COVID issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And, speaking of which, I'll tell you about my little incident. Here shortly about that. But anyway, yeah, Justin's going to be missing, so it's just going to be me tonight. I'm sorry, we won't have the comic relief, or so he thinks. He's the comic relief. Anyway, we'll get through this. We got a lot to talk about. We hadn't been on in a couple of weeks. We took a little Christmas break.
Yeah.
Refreshing. Spend time with your family, that kind of thing. John, what we got going on here in HTT Media at the end of 2021, going into 2022. Now, I'll say this, and let me just say this real quick. We're in a weird little period. That period between Christmas and New Year's is always really weird. You don't know, you have to go back to work. Well, some of us work through, but I was fortunate enough to have the week of Christmas off.
Right.
But you have to go back to work, but there's I don't know how it is where y'all work, but where we work, it's always like, okay, we'll handle that after the first of the year. Let's just get through this last week of the year. Let's maintain and get through it, and we'll handle the heavy stuff after the first year. We'll get back to it,
Right.
So that's kind of how it is for everybody, I think. No matter what profession, what job, what you do, on your, on a daily basis in your daily routine. That's kind of how it is. It's a weird week. It always is. But anyway, what's going on in HTT Media?
We took a little time off. Everything's kind of slowed down during the and we always do it. Every year we do this, just give the guys time for, friends and family, to kind of hang out with their family and stuff like that, get a little stress off of them. Like we always say, all these guys that do this right at the moment are volunteers. So, they work their tails off for us to come up here and do these shows every week. So, kudos to them. But, I do have some quick notes here real quick. So tonight actually starts something kind of different. We haven't really done this. I wanted to venture out into this world. So tonight, I want to thank everybody watching us on Facebook, but also I want everybody to introduce our show out on YouTube, on Twitch, and we haven't got TikTok yet, but we're working on that. They have a weird algorithm. But yeah, other than that, just kind of next week, we're going to get back into it full steam. And we want to give a shout out to our sponsors this week. ProQuip Rentals for all your rental needs, whether it be, floor buffers to track hose. Go out and see them. They're out there on 96, right past West Texas Barbecue. If you're from Silsibee, Texas, you know where that is. By the way,
Sad, very sad.
That I believe it was Christmas Eve was their last day of business. We want to thank them guys for, I think it was 38 years of service to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great place to eat out there.
Absolutely.
I had my rehearsal dinner for my wedding out there.
Yeah.
That's how good it was. I mean, there was an awesome place to eat.
But yeah, go check out ProQuip Rentals, 409-386-6828, or you can like them and follow them on Facebook to check out all your rental needs.
Yep. Well, with us going out on these different platforms and reaching people probably that aren't from the area, we're probably going to, even though we are a local show and we kind of focus on local, we like to focus on local. we're going to try to appeal a little bit to a broader audience.
Right.
So, and that'll take some work from me and Justin because we do like to talk local and we like to talk Silsibee specifically. So it's going to take some work on our part, but and we're still going to do that. But we definitely, with John making this move here to branch out, we're going to have to appeal to them a little bit. So look for some varying content, some different content, maybe some different kind of shows. Maybe we just do a local show one week, and then one week we do, just a broad topic national type show. We would definitely let you know about that if we were going to change the format of how we do things here, on Rolling on the Field. So,
right.
But anyway, we're going to have to do something. We can't. We're not going to get eyes sitting here, talking about, Silsibee tennis in the spring, and that's nothing against Silsibee tennis. It's nothing against Silsibee, but the goal here is to get more eyes on us. So
right. Also, we talked about our sponsor just a minute ago. With the new year comes new opportunities for all the businesses around us, not only local but national. If you would like to sponsor any of our shows, we just put out an advertising package on each Facebook page, whether it be Ruling on the Field. That's what she said. So here's the thing: listen closely. It is what it is. We put them out on all those different social media sites. So check that out. It's a New Year special, 22% off of the grand deal. So y'all check it out. Let us know if you're interested.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal, and it's always good advertisement.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I was going to say something. Oh, also, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, John, bail me out here. Talk a little bit, and let me think about what I was going to say.
I mean, but we're excited as far as HTT Media for what's going to happen in the future. We're going into our third year. It's really exciting. They say you make the most money in your third year, or you get ahead. And we're hoping that happens for us.
I know what I was going to say now. Like you were talking about something, I started thinking about something else, and I was like, well, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, y'all make sure and share our stuff out. All the shows, if you like them, share them out. Tell your friends. Hey, watch these guys. They're pretty funny, or they're pretty informative, or there's something that you might like. Share it out and let people know. That way we can get more viewership and do more things out here in the community, because that's the goal. That's the goal is the community, and I know that's HTT Media's goal.
Yeah.
And the more eyes we can get on us, the better.
And one other thing before we dive into it, like we've always said, one of the things, and you see it sometime with the shows. These guys will have funny shirts on. They'll have different things. We are actually going to start pushing out some merchandise here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be great. I know I've got like 100 different shirts from Ruling on the Field.
Yeah, we're a little goofy, so we like goofy stuff, and we like to take little things that have happened. If you follow us, and if you are a regular watcher of the show, you'll understand them, but we could always go back over them because they're always going to be funny. But anyway.
Absolutely.
We're ready to get back. Excuse me.
Dive on in.
I'm sorry. I might have to clear my throat a couple times. Like I said, I have been a little bit under the weather. I think starting Saturday night, kind of had like a really good head cold. I hadn't had one in a long time, but it was all neck and above, it wasn't in the chest.
Yeah.
And kind of scared me because you got this stuff going around, still. But man, it hit me hard. And like I said, I had to go back to work. So I went.
Yeah. I
had it all Sunday. We had our family Christmas party. I felt a little bit better then. Monday morning I woke up and I was just, ugh.
Yeah.
And luckily, they have something out there called Mucinex, and it is a lifesaver.
There you go.
I had Mucinex at house. I had a 12-hour time release, but
yeah,
I needed the hard hitting stuff. It's like,
right.
It's like, I've got this beer here, but I need some whiskey.
Yeah.
So I went and got some of the liquid and hit it pretty hard. And then I went to work, and everybody could tell I kind of felt like crud. And got some good advice from coworkers. Said, look, Josh, go home, eat, take a really hot shower, steam it up, you know, take a good dose of medicine and get into bed early and sleep it off. And I did that Monday night, and it worked like a charm. And I've done that before, but I mean, him just telling me that, yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. You know,
Right.
Like, it was like I was thinking about. It made me think about Wolf of Wall Street whenever he's thinking about the long flight that he has to Switzerland. He's like, if I take my drugs just right, I can sleep through the whole flight.
Right.
And that's, I mean, I was like, if I just do this methodically, just like he laid it out, like it's gonna help me, and I'm gonna be fine in the morning. Sure enough, on Tuesday morning, I felt great, not 100%, but definitely way better than I did on Monday morning. But
Right.
anyway, we'll dive right into it on in local. We got a Silsibee basketball update, a deep dive Silsibee basketball update, boys and girls. I want to talk about that. We want to we're going to remind our local leagues that we want to support them, and we want to get their stuff out there. We'll talk about that, and we want to do a rolling on the field fantasy football update.
Yeah.
And a trophy presentation schedule, because this weekend is the championship weekend.
Right.
John lucked out enough to get in the 7th place game.
Yeah, I'm not in last place.
Yeah, now
I'm super surprised.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that more when I get down to it. In national, we're going to do a college recap. Plus, I want to talk about the COVID effects on the bowl games this college football postseason. NFL recap. Why the NBA regular season right now doesn't matter, and the early regular season of NBA doesn't matter. I'm going to touch on that. We're going to pour some out for one John Madden, who passed yesterday. Was it yesterday or? Yeah, it was yesterday. And we're going to make our picks for the upcoming weekend. In BS, we're going to talk about what you listen to. We're going to throw the flag on something. We're going to talk about how local anglers are getting worse than door-to-door salesmen with their needing of dead Christmas trees. And we'll talk about that. Y'all stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about the appropriate timing for putting up your Christmas decor. That means putting it back in storage, taking it down, putting it back in storage. Everybody has a varying opinion on that.
Yes.
We're going to talk about New Year's festivities and our resolutions, our personal resolutions, and our business or work resolutions.
Right.
It's important to differentiate those two, and have goals that you want to do for the year for both.
Right.
You can't, separate them. Anyway, we'll get into that, and we'll close out the program after that. So, John, if you don't have anything, I'm going to get right into it.
Go ahead, man. We're ready.
Silsibee High School boys basketball. Since we last reported, which was back, I'm sure Justin maybe hit a couple games. They had, it's in December. It was during the school break, so the schedule was kind of, I don't want to say it was off, but it wasn't like every day. It wasn't like a normal, week schedule,
right?
Because of the Christmas holidays, and they did a couple tournaments. They're in a tournament now up in Dallas, I think. So we'll talk about that. Anyway, the Silsibee High School boys ranked number 2 in Division 4A in the state. They are 15-4 overall. They're 1-0 in district. They played one district game. They had a tournament over in Louisiana, where they beat Jennings. That's the Louisiana team. LaGrange, out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's not the Texas LaGrange. Not like the ZZ Top song. Rumor spreading around. They also beat Lufkin over there in that tourney. Other wins that they had during this period, Orangefield, which was the one district win, they handled Orangefield pretty easily. And Orangefield, from what I know about Orangefield, if they're anything sports, athletically, best at, it's basketball. So the fact that they beat Orangefield, they pretty handily is pretty impressive. They beat HJ, and they beat Center. They lost to Dallas Carter there in the Dallas ISD tourney, which they are still in, and it's still going on. But they did lose to Dallas Carter there.
Okay.
It wasn't a blowout. They're 7-1 in their last 8 games.
Man, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. It's going to come together for them. I say come together. They lost 4 games. I mean, they're a really good team. They're number 2 in the state in Division 4A.
Right.
They're not going anywhere. We're going to watch them win a bunch this year. Next up, they got Bridge City to start their district schedule. They got a bunch of district games in a row. That game is on January 7th, and that's in Bridge City for the boys. We'll talk about the girls' game coming up. The girls, they're a top 40 team in Division 4A in the girls. They're 16-4 overall. I mean, 4 losses for both boys and girls. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They played 3 district games, and they've won all 3. 3-0 in district. They got 3 tourney wins. Hudson, Livingston, and Pollock Central, which I don't know. Forgive me, I don't know where Pollock Central is located. I don't know where they're out of.
You do that?
Oh,
Would that be possible?
sorry about that.
That's okay. They've got 2 losses to Lovelady and Lufkin. Other wins on the schedule that they've pulled off since we last spoke: Jasper, LCM, Vider, Orangefield, and Woodville. Now listen to this. This is impressive. I want y'all to really pay attention. They're on a 7-game winning streak, beating their opponents by an average of 20 points.
Each game, yeah.
Each
wow.
game.
Wow.
I mean, how impressive is that?
That is super impressive.
I mean, that tells you that, they're coming up against some stuff that's just really, I'm not going to say that they're sleepwalking through it, because they're not. I'm sure they're playing their best and they're playing their hardest. But I mean, it's not really, when you win by 20 points, it's, or an average of 20 points. Now, there's been some closer games, but I mean, they're handling teams. That's what I'm trying to say here.
I mean, and with that being said, in the past, I just, 3 to 5 years, Silsibee basketball has just been dominant.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Both boys and girls.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's just, the crop of players that is coming through Silsibee, but
it's going to be a little bit of everything.
They've got something going good, and y'all need to get out there and support them.
Absolutely. They got good coaching, good talent here in Silsibee, and basketball is something that is given to younger kids at a young age here.
Right.
And they understand how important basketball is here in Silsibee at a young age.
Right.
Like a lot of towns around us. But they get aspirations, and they want to see themselves on that court, when they get older. So they practice basketball, and they want to play basketball at a high level, and that's why we've had such good teams. And
right.
Also coaching plays a big role.
Yeah.
Sure. Next up, for the girls is Bridge City. That's a district game. It's going to be at home for the girls on the same date, on the 7th at 7 p.m. Y'all get out there and support them. It's right here at home. Y'all go pick you up a ticket and go watch them girls play. It should be pretty impressive, judging by their 20-point average victories over their last 7 opponents.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to wrap up our Silsibee basketball update. Y'all be sure and support these guys. Don't wait till the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unlike something I'm going to talk about later, regular season high school basketball is really important.
Yeah.
And district basketball is really important. So, and it's really fun to watch. So y'all get out there and watch these guys.
And like you say on the sheet there, send, if you have information about any of these sports, from tennis to volleyball to basketball to whatever, football, whatever you want, send it to us, man. If it's peewee, if it's high school, we love to celebrate.
If you think it's worth reporting on,
yeah,
and everything is from I mean, we don't discriminate. I mean, we've reported on Pee Wee football. We reported on HCT Media's reported on the high school football team. We haven't personally had them in, but we want to, and we want to have some of the high school teams if they so wish us to have them on and support them and get get them some recognition out there. We love to have them. We love any league, any athletes.
Yeah.
We want to celebrate our local athletes, and we don't mind putting them out there.
I talked to a local Ruling on the Field fan, and he said something to me, and he said, man, I love what y'all are doing with the show because I wish back in my day that we had something like this.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
To celebrate, individual players and team efforts and stuff like that. And so I believe we're doing a good thing here. So y'all send us that information.
Absolutely. Y'all get with us. We'd love to give your athletes some recognition.
Absolutely.
Give your team some recognition. Give your league some recognition. We're out there. We're that's what we want to do. That's a main goal and a main focus for us. And I agree. And I'm surprised that we have a fan out there, but I agree.
you got a couple.
I agree that we didn't have that growing up. I mean, if you had a good game, you had to hope that you were going to open a B, next Wednesday, and know that the gentleman that was reporting on it knew you had a good game.
Right.
And to their credit, for a lot of years, they were the only source to go to.
Right.
To find that out and to find your name and to find your newspaper clippings and a lot of us grew up like that. But now you've got this instant stuff like we're doing here, this instant media. I can pull up whatever game is going on in that Dallas tournament right now and give you a play-by-play on it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
If Silsibee was playing right now, I can give you the play-by-play.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how instant everything is.
We have this wonderful thing called technology, and we use it for the benefit of our community.
Absolutely. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till next week's B comes out to get the information and share it out. And once I notice a lot of once we recognize a lot of these athletes, a lot of parents love to share it out. Just look at my child, look at my baby. Look what they're doing. And look at their team, and that's what we want. So that's what we're asking y'all to do. Y'all get with us, and y'all help us help you, and help us to steal a line from Jerry Maguire. Help us help your league and your athlete and your team get their name out there, and let people know what y'all are doing and the good y'all are doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're on the Field Fantasy League. Let me pull that up. So we are in the championship round. I'll tell you right off the bat, me and Justin did not do very well.
Yeah.
John did much better.
I did okay. I skirted by. That's what it comes down to. I've got it pulled up if you.
I've got it right here, John. I'll tell you the team names, but when we give the trophy, it's going to be the team name and the individual's name.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. We're going to give a trophy for first place, and first place will get a gift basket with various items in it. And then we're going to give a trophy for the last place loser who doesn't get anything but that, and maybe a T-shirt that says "I'm a fantasy loser." Something like that. We'll have to get with Beth from Doodlebugs and get something made there. Okay, so in the championship game, we've got Connies, the Connies. I call them the Connies in my head because that's what I've been looking at all season. And the Connies have made probably the most roster moves I've ever seen a fantasy football team made in my life. I bet you, if I looked right now, I bet you the Connies have made 155 roster moves. I guarantee you. I did look one time, and the lowest was 13. I think that's held by Bucky's Best Team, who is our own Bucky Pender, who is in last place currently. But we'll talk about that more later. And in the third place game, obviously whoever wins the championship, the loser will be the second place.
Right.
Third place game, you got the Water Boys, which is an excellent name for a team. Their avatar is actually Bobby Boucher.
Mm-hmm.
And you got that guy, Tom, who we know, and we will tell you about later if he does any good. If he wins third place, we'll definitely tell you about him.
Yes.
Which is, I didn't think that he was going to do very good in the
league. Just so you know, he's been gloating.
Has he really?
Yeah, he's
been. And in the fifth place game, we got Darth Vader. and Darth Vader, like Darth Vader, but Darth Vader. I know this gentleman, and the reason he's Darth Vader is because he happens to be the Vader reporter for Max Preps. So,
okay.
Yeah, he actually gets on Max Preps and reports on Vader football.
That's what's up.
Or gives them the stats and things
Right.
like that. It gives them the scores and things. And then we got Paul's Rattlers, who I also know. I know why he calls them the Rattlers. And in the seventh place, we've got Smoke Show, who we know, who is a HAT media member. And we've got the Marvelous Ones, who is our own, I'll go ahead and tell you, who's our own John Marble back there behind a fake-ass glass. And hopefully he beats out Smoke Show and wins the seventh place prize. If there is no prize for seventh place, hopefully you win.
I have a better chance if Lamar Jackson plays. He's been out with an ankle injury for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And we'll do something, too, for the third place. First, second, and third prizes. But you won't get a trophy for second and third. You just won't. But, I mean, maybe, a gift card to Frenchie's or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But definitely the first place will get a little prize pack and their name on the trophy. And the last place will get on the shame trophy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the update, and we will fill you in next week, and we'll have the trophy presentation next week. And I don't know if we're going to have people come live in studio for the presentation, or we're just going to present it and have them watch it with everything going on with the new COVID and everything kind of spiking and everything. It may not be a good time to gather a bunch of people in a room, in a small room.
Right.
But anyway, speaking of that, I was talking about being sick earlier.
Yeah.
I did take my first ever COVID test.
Yeah.
And, of course, I was negative.
Yeah.
But it was amazing because through all this time, from the beginning up to now, I have never had to take a COVID test.
Did it hurt you when you had to stick it in your nose?
It
tingles.
It made me cry.
Yeah,
me
too.
Waters your eyes.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily hurt, but we're lucky enough that we have a individual at work who is certified to test. Through the health department, through the county and everything, and so we can just do it right there in house.
Okay.
And it works out really good.
Yeah.
But still, it's tingling and makes your eyes water, makes you cry a little bit. Not cry like from pain, but anytime you stick something in your nose, that's the reflex. You're going to start tearing up. But,
well, what gets me is that it tells you to hold it there for like 30 seconds or something like that, 45 seconds maybe.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here. I can't do that for 30 to 45 seconds. Like, because you have to twist it around too. And I'm just like,
right, you got to twist it.
Like, every time I did it. So I unfortunately had to take it about 4 or 5 times in the last year or so. Yeah. And every time that I've taken one, I've always sneezed right at the end of it.
Yeah, well, I've been fortunate enough. And I'm being honest right now. Like, since COVID has been, the outbreak of COVID has happened, I haven't really been sick up till now. Yeah. Like, I mean, mine outside of the normal allergies that you get certain times a year, where your eyes water and your eyes are a little red or whatever. I mean, I haven't really been sick, and which is funny because I said the same thing right before Christmas and I ended up getting sick. So I probably forgot to knock on wood or whatever, but
yeah, right.
That's been the case, and that's probably why I've never haven't had to take a COVID test. I've never run any fever. I mean, that long. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. Because I normally do get sick at least once or twice a year. Now, I'm not going to get into that. We got plenty. I'm not gonna. I'll just tell you that I don't get sick a lot anyway. Really sick. But anyway, national. We're gonna move on to national. I'll give you a college football recap here. Yeah. Got bowl games going on. I've watched a couple of them, and I have turned a couple of them off because they were just boring, man. Yeah. But the ACC has the best record. AAC, I'm sorry, excuse me. American Athletic Conference has the best record in bowl so far, which is 3-0. And the SEC has the worst, which is 0-4. Notable games so far that have happened, that I think, in my opinion, Houston beat Auburn in a Birmingham Bowl. That's in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah. Auburn just looked flat, man. They didn't look like they wanted to be there, and I'm sure they didn't. But Houston also looked pretty sharp. So you get a team out What's up?
No, I just read your comment next to the next team. I didn't see it when I first went to
well,
it.
we'll get to it. But yeah, Auburn come out flat. They didn't look very good at all.
So I have a question for you then.
Okay.
All right. So Houston beats Auburn, right?
Yeah.
So in the same idea, does a Houston team beat Alabama?
No.
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 Okay.
Houston.
And so it was just luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Houston played a really good game, and Auburn
did not.
Just kind of slepwalk through it.
Yeah.
And also, you gotta take into account all these games that there's a lot of COVID stuff happening. We'll talk about that in a second. There's a lot of people choosing to opt out of their bowl game because they're going to the league,
right?
Or they've entered the transfer portal. It's a epidemic, if you will. Since we're talking about COVID, in NCAA football, in college football, is that at the end of the season, people are going to they're going to opt out of the bowls because they don't want to. They're going to focus on the NFL. If they're a third-year guy and they've got a grade good enough to go into the draft, they're not going to play a bowl game and risk getting injured. That's their money. They're messing with their money. And I understand it to some extent. And to some extent, I understand that you're letting down your team and your own scholarship here still. But that's a debate we can have later. But Houston beats Auburn, and after the game, of course, one of my favorite coaches, I think, right now in coaching, it has been, is Dana Holgorsen. Took exception to Auburn's press conference being so long, and because they just held them in there and they were asking all kinds. Dana Holgorsen gets up to the mic, he's like, "Hell, we won a game." like we're ready to come in here and talk about us winning the game.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that was just a side note on it. Yeah, UCF beats Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl, or whatever the hell that is. What is the Gasparilla?
I'm gonna research that one.
Please
I want to know what Gasparilla is too.
I did not watch this game, but I heard about it afterward because I didn't think. I thought UCF had a very good shot of beating Florida because I just knew with Dan Mullen leaving, they got a new coach coming in, but I don't think he coached the bowl game, Billy Napier. I just didn't think that Florida was going to be in that game, and they weren't. And UCF beat them pretty handily. And that all makes sense because as we learned a few shows ago, Florida ain't real anyway. When you get the Gasparilla up, let me know what it is. I assume it's some kind of
okay. So it says, "Ye mystic crew of Gasparilla. It is inspired by the legend of pirate Jose Gaspar. Ye mystic crew of Gasparilla was founded in 1904 as an organization dedicated to enriching the vitality and imagination of Tampa and the surrounding communities." Okay, so it's a community outreach program.
They're like a Mardi Gras crew, though.
Yeah, pretty much. They have a parade too called the a festival called the Gasparilla Pirate Festival.
And if a Mardi Gras crew can host a bowl game, can sponsor a bowl game, I need to make me a Mardi Gras crew, man. They're bringing in some money if they can do that. That's at least a couple $1 million.
Yeah,
to host a bowl game or to sponsor a bowl game, I would think. Anyway, the crew of Gasparilla. Good to know.
Yeah.
Texas Tech kills Moose State in the Liberty Bowl. That happened last night.
Yeah.
Again, Mississippi State just come out and they they didn't look like themselves. Texas Tech had a good game plan. A lot of these teams, when they come in and they face SEC opponents, they say the big bad SEC, we can go in there, we can beat them, and sure enough they do in a bowl game because and there again, Moose State, I call Moose State. I'm sorry. Mississippi State fans are going to get real salty at me if I keep doing it. Mississippi State come in and they had a lot of injury and attrition to the NFL draft via sitting out the bowl game and stuff like that. So, they probably have better talent than Texas Tech. It wasn't all there on the field. And that being said, they had a chance to win the game. They couldn't pull it out. Texas Tech had a good game plan, and they just look like Mississippi State just looked like they weren't there to play football.
Right.
Because Texas Tech just kind of beat them. I mean, the score was like 20. What was it? 20. I didn't write it down, but I think it was like 24-7. Maybe it's 34-7. But they didn't score in a big bunch. Like they just methodically scored throughout the game, and Mississippi State only ever had that 7 from the first quarter on. I mean, they just couldn't get anything going, and Texas Tech beats them, and another loss for the SEC. But like I said, a lot of teams, they come in and they said, big bad SEC, we're going to beat them. They
It was 34-7.
34-7. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. And they just kind of use that as a motivation, Army beats Mizzou. And, man, I was kind of glad because there was a Mizzou player that did something really disrespectful. And not that I like Mizzou, but, I mean, something happened and he stood up and saluted, which was kind of mocking to the Army. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's not really. Ooh. I didn't read up on an explanation he might have had for it, but it can't be. Like you shouldn't do that. And so I was glad of that. I mean, I was pretty pleased with that outcome because, for one thing, Mizzou kind of has in the league, and if you're an SEC homer or you're SEC kind of insider like we are, Mizzou kind of has a reputation of being that woke school that they want to make sure that you know that they don't like things that you do, that was definitely disrespectful. So Army gets the win there. Games to look forward to outside of the college football playoff. We're not going to talk about college football playoff because we did make our picks earlier in the month for
Right.
that. You can go back and find those. They're going to be on probably in the earlier December. It's probably the only one that we did together in the early December, I think, because I remember thinking that Justin's here. Let's go ahead and make our picks for the CFP. But anyway, outside of the college football playoffs, bowl games you might want to pay attention to that are probably going to be good. North Carolina versus South Carolina, which I think is an excellent matchup that the Duke's Mayo Bowl got.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever heads up their committee did a good job getting both those teams because, for one thing, they're a rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, South Carolina, and you get them in a bowl game, and they're two very competitive teams.
Right.
South Carolina's got a couple big wins this year. North Carolina also, so that ought to be a good game. Oklahoma versus Oregon in the Alamo Bowl over in San Antonio. That should be a good one. Both unranked in that one. No, I think Oklahoma is ranked.
Yeah.
I think Oregon fell out. I did put the rankings in. Kansas State versus LSU in the Texas Bowl. I'm actually going to that game.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. It's right down there in Houston, NRG. It's I've been to the Texas Bowl before when LSU played Texas Tech. I think it was 2015 or something like that. But it was a really neat game. It was really they always have it on a weird time and a weekday. But I took off Tuesday to go to it, so maybe we'll do a live from there or something.
There you go.
A short live or something. But it should be fun. I had fun last time. I'll tell you all a story. If we do a live from there, I'll tell you a story about how I tried to go back into the stadium after LSU beat Texas Tech that year, and I quickly realized when you leave a stadium, there really ain't no getting back in. So I'll tell you about that later on. Side note to that, but I jotted a note down on my way out. See, Keyshawn Butte is going to stay a LSU Tiger and come back next year, which I think next year would be a junior.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, because if he was a junior this year, he could have went to the league.
Right.
But he was thinking about entering the transfer portal. Brian Kelly's got there. He's we also kind of the same thing happened with Miles Brennan. He entered the transfer portal and decided to come back. So he's trying to keep some of his talent there, which I think is a good thing. But Butte's a big, even bigger than Miles Brennan is bigger because he's an excellent receiver. Receiver got hurt earlier in the year and was out. Michigan State versus Pitt in the Peach Bowl. That should be a good matchup. Pitt was surprising toward the end of the year, and I think that'll be a good game. in the Peach Bowl, it's weird because the Peach Bowl it's a Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
It's in Atlanta, and it's normally there's normally at least one SEC team in there.
Yeah.
And so they didn't make their SEC tie-in this year, probably because of the amount of SEC teams that went to other bowls, or
right.
Because if you have an agreement with a certain league, a certain conference, you get down the list. If these teams accept bids to other bowls, then you have to pretty much get who you can get, right?
Right.
So, which it was surprising to me though that the Peach Bowl did not get an SEC team. I don't know why that is. Maybe I should have done my research, but maybe I'll tell y'all later. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
There you
Depends on if I'm. I'm pretty lazy nowadays. I don't know if I'll feel like doing that work, but unless somebody tells me, maybe I'll let y'all know. Penn State versus Arkansas in the Outback Bowl. That's another SEC tie-in bowl. That should be a good game.
Yeah.
Penn State was good for most of the year. Arkansas was good definitely in the first half of the year, and they kind of tailed off, but they kind of picked it back up at the end. That should be a good game. Iowa versus Kentucky. Kentucky was a really good football team this year. Their record maybe should have indicated better, that they were a better football team, or that they were a good football team. But if you just look at them based on record, you might think, well, that's just normal Kentucky stuff, or maybe Kentucky had a better team this year than what they normally have.
Right.
But they did have a really good team. And their quarterback has also come back next year, which I saw on my way out. That should be a good game. Iowa's a good team also. Ohio State versus Utah State in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Man, I used to love hearing Keith Jackson say that when I was a kid. I go, the granddaddy of them all,
Yeah.
But anyway, that should be a good game. Utah had a couple big wins. Ohio State ain't Ohio State of the past few years, but they're always a good team. They've got talent there. It should be a good game. I did not write down any times and dates for these games because who knows what's going to be canceled. I'm about to talk about that, cancellations. But check your local listings. Consult your local check local listings for times and dates.
Yeah.
Notable cancellations due to COVID, or from what I understand, it's been COVID and injuries and transfer portal and NFL draft attrition. It's a combination of a bunch of stuff, but teams have not been able to field enough players to play in bowl games, and some of the notables are the Hawaii Bowl, which was going to be Hawaii versus Memphis. The Military Bowl, which is going to be Boston College versus East Carolina. The Fenway Bowl, which is played at Fenway Stadium. Virginia versus SMU. That would have probably been a pretty good game. SMU had kind of a cool team this year. I like to watch them. The Arizona Bowl, which was Boise State and Central Michigan. And the Holiday Bowl, which is NC State versus UCLA. And I just listened to something on the way home. NC State's having a rough year with COVID cancellations, man.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I'll tell you is that the Holiday Bowl went ahead and gave the trophy to NC State because UCLA was the team that kind of backed out first.
Right.
NC State was ready to play, and they tried to find a replacement. A lot of these bowls have found replacements, but they could not find a replacement. And if you remember, back in the College World Series, NC State was in there, and they were to play Vanderbilt in the semifinal.
Right.
And they had to bow out due to COVID. And so Vanderbilt got by forfeit, got to move into the finals.
Yeah.
So NC State's having a bad year with COVID. It's pretty rough. I think the College World Series thing was probably a bigger deal because they could have won a championship there, and this was just a Holiday Bowl. But still, I don't know. I mean, them being a champions of the Holiday Bowl, them naming them, I guess their conference is going to get that money.
Yeah.
From, because there's a payout for every bowl. Probably not much in the Holiday Bowl. I imagine it's about $300,000, where some of these bowls pay like $5 million. So
Yeah.
But anyway, if they're champions and they get that money, good for them. NFL recap. We're going to hit the highlights from the weekend based on my, opinion. It was kind of the weekend of the blowout. If you watch any NFL this weekend, I mean, there's a lot of games that weren't very close. The Colts over the Cardinals, 22-16. That was kind of surprising. That wasn't a blowout, but it was a close game. But the Colts take that game. Bengals get a big win over the Ravens, 41-21. Now that's kind of a blowout. Joe Burrow looked good in that game, and he's looked good most of the season. He looked pretty good in that game. The Texans surprisingly get a big win over the Chargers, 41-29.
Surprisingly. Yeah.
Now that just goes to show you that even though the Texans they're just kind of downtrodden this year, there's still NFL talent on that roster.
Yeah.
They're still professional players. They got a lot of pride. They want to win games. They're still out there competing, and their draft picks. Some of their draft picks are starting to play, and it looks like they had a pretty good draft based on that.
Right.
So that's good. For sure, in that organization, their GM I think needs to stay, and I think he's in a good spot. Some of their coach and the Easterby guy and stuff. We got to do something there, but
yeah.
It seems kind of a toxic work environment over there. But Nick Caceres, who's the GM, makes some good moves. He's out of New England. He comes from New England. He makes some good moves. So maybe he'll do good by him coming up in this next draft, and they'll do better next year. Dolphins over the Saints, 20-3. Ian Book started for the Saints. Who Ian Book looks like another mediocre Notre Dame quarterback in the league. I mean, you have all these quarterbacks from Notre Dame, and they look good in college. They look okay in college, okay, and they get in the league and they just lay eggs. I mean, they're just mediocre. They're not. It just goes to show you, maybe how much other talent that Notre Dame gets, and they don't focus on quarterback talent, or quarterbacks don't necessarily win them games. I know that's kind of been their MO.
Right.
Is that quarterback has always been a liability there. Defense is always good. Skill positions are always good. But you just get another one in the league that's a Notre Dame quarterback, and you're like, okay, this looks like a Notre Dame quarterback, right? In the league, they're impressive in college. Brady Quinn was impressive in college. He's in, who was the other one? I can't remember, but very impressive in college. They get to the league and they're mediocre. But anyway, Cowboys just killed the Washington football team. And what a good game for the Cowboys. 56-14 final score. Fun game to watch if you're a Cowboys fan.
Boy, I'm telling you, I mean, crushed them.
Killed them. Trayvon Diggs may be my new favorite player in the league. Number 7 for the Cowboys. And I think his son may even be better.
Did you see the meme where it was like, it showed the Washington football team's bench, and it said, when you bring your own bench to the game and you still get slaughtered?
Have you ever watched some of the videos of his son in the stands talking to people? It's hilarious. It's hilarious. He's like, that's my daddy down there, number 7. He's about to take the ball from another team, this and that. It's funny. I saw where Patrick Mahomes gave him a jersey when they played and stuff, and just a likable kid. Seems like he's a good dad, and he's got his kid at the game, and he's hanging out with him and stuff. Even though football is a very tough sport, and you got to have a lot of time away from your families, but just to see that that kind of makes it relatable, makes them more relatable, makes athletes more relatable when they got kids in the stand and they're trying to relate, to still be with their kids and their children and their family and stuff,
Right.
Even though they're professional athletes and they make millions of dollars a year, and they've got a lot of they got a super busy schedule. It's just neat to see. Y'all looked some of them videos up. It's pretty cute. He's still a pretty young kid, so it's pretty cute. And that does it for the NFL recap. We'll move on to NBA. Why the NBA? Why the regular season NBA, early regular season NBA doesn't matter to me. Pre New Year's, I don't care about the NBA.
Right.
I don't know why we need this little time in the NBA. Why do I need to be watching basketball when football is still being played? You know?
Yeah.
It's just taking some of the focus off. The NBA season is way too long anyway. It's 82 games. I think the NBA season could be like 50 games.
Yeah.
And still get all their stuff done and still have all their conferences and league stuff settled. I really do. Baseball, I think, should be shortened too. I don't think baseball should play 162 games anymore. I think it's outdated.
Yeah.
I think they need to move to a different schedule where they can get their stuff done. They can get their conferences and divisions and stuff settled in a more efficient manner in less games.
Right.
And there's got to be a way to do that. And my last note on it is why early regular season NBA doesn't matter to me. It's because LeBron James is already getting on my damn nerves.
Yeah.
And I'm done with him already this season, making excuses and already eyeballing going back to Cleveland and this and that. I mean, I'm done with that. Admittedly, I'm not a LeBron James fan.
Yeah.
But man, he just gets on my. He's always got something to say. Always got an excuse. Always on social media making an excuse for him or his team.
And it's never his fault.
No, it's never his fault.
His fault.
He never takes ownership of anything,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's so bad about it to me. I think. Anyway, we'll move on to. I'll pour some out. Pour some out for John Madden.
Yeah.
Who passed at he was 85.
Mm.
Hall of Fame broadcaster and coach. Obviously, a lot of people our age remember him more for being a broadcaster and more for his video game.
Yeah.
That was his name was on. But he was also a coach with the highest winning percentage ever as a coach in the NFL. 103 wins, 32 losses, and 7 ties in 10 seasons. That's pretty efficient. That's the high that goes down as the highest winning percentage ever in the league. Now, he only coached 10 seasons, but he won Super Bowl 11. Always had good teams with the Raiders. Moved on to a very lucrative for him and fun for everybody broadcasting career. Starting out with, I think, started out with CBS.
Yeah.
When CBS lost the contract to the NFC, and Fox picked it up, they moved over to Fox. Him and Pat Summerall, they were a great team, and he was always fun to listen to. Always had funny stories, and he was kind of the inventor of the writing on the screen type thing and showing the plays. I can't remember what they called that. There was a name for it back then.
So a short little note to that. So for some reason, me and the wife had to run into GameStop today, and it was so cool because I promise you there was about 3 dads in there with their kids, and these guys were, all dirty. They had their work boots on, stuff like that, and they're all 3 of them were holding a copy of Madden 21.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for next year, they should have Madden back on the cover.
Yeah.
See, Madden was on the cover and I had all the games from 1990 on.
Yeah.
And Madden was always on the cover up to, I think it was 99 or 98 or something. They started putting the players on the cover.
Right.
Which goes into the whole Madden curse thing, and everybody's worried about it.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another time. But, I mean, the games were always so good. From 90, my favorite on Sega Genesis was 92, and the Cowboys were good, and the Bills were good. Nobody, I mean, it was a Sega Genesis game, but you could run Emmitt Smith if you were playing with the Cowboys, and nobody could ever catch him.
Yeah.
That's how, I mean, it was just so, it was fun to play. I had 99 later in life when I was in high school, and that was kind of the first game that I remember, first football game that I remember that incorporated a soundtrack.
Yeah.
of current music, and I thought that was really neat. And I really enjoyed playing that game. But he only lent his name to the game, but he'll always be remembered in regards to that, like in association with that. It was absolutely the best. It's absolutely the best football game on any platform.
Yeah.
Second to that, maybe NCAA football.
Yeah.
For any year on any platform, but
the one thing I remember is, and it's one of my favorite quotes of all time from him, is when good football players play good football, that makes it a good football game.
Yeah, that's kind of a Yogi Berra type thing, but yeah, he had a good sense of humor. He brought a lot of fun to the game and kind of his own little his own personality that
absolutely
that made the game better. All the good ones do. I remember when I was a kid hearing all the stories about he never flew.
Yeah.
So he always rode the bus anywhere that they went. They traveled. He rode the bus. And I heard today that when he was being shopped around to the different broadcast companies, CBS was actually willing to build him his own train car.
Yeah.
To take him around the country and stuff like that. They were on. I think the story was they were owned by GE at the time, and GE had a train line, and they were willing to build him his own train car to travel to games. I mean, that's how good he was and how big a name he was, and how.
The Twitter feed alone in the last couple of days since his passing has just.
Yeah, go out there and look at that, and all the people that he's met and the stories that they tell about him. It's just it's amazing. And there's also I think on Fox coming up, they actually played a video of some of the for him in his last days of some of his stuff and had him talk about it, and it's gonna be pretty neat. Y'all look it up, y'all Google it. I can't remember what they said and when they said it was gonna be, but y'all look that up because that ought to be good. I'm gonna look it up for sure and watch it. But definitely pour some out for John Madden. He'll be missed. Great coach and an even greater broadcaster, I think. So, picks for this weekend. Last weekend of the regular season, we're going to go into wild card round. I chose 5 games, including the Monday night game. There is no Thursday night game on the last week. So didn't have the Thursday to pick, but we've got KC -5 at Cincy. As hot as Joe Burrow is, I'm tempted to take Cincinnati on that game.
Yeah.
I think I will. I think he going coming off the motivation of his previous win, he might carry that over. Philly is -3.5 at the Washington football team.
Oh yeah, that's.
I'm gonna take Philly to cover that 3.5. Washington looks like they're just beat down, and I mean, judging by their performance at Dallas last week, it looked like they're just mailing it in at this point. They're just done.
Right.
Houston is +12.5 at San Fran. I'm gonna take Houston in that. I think Houston covers that. Again, based off their previous outing and the fact that they're playing. I mean, maybe not as good a ball as some people do, but maybe their best ball this year. So I'll take the points.
Okay.
Houston there. Arizona is +5.5 at Dallas. I'm gonna take Dallas all day on that. I think Dallas. We got a lot of teams, a lot of momentum here,
right.
and they're coming off big wins, and they got a lot of momentum, and they're going to continue, I think. And Cleveland is -3 at Pitt, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland wins that game.
Okay.
But anyway, that is our picks for the weekend. John, can you start talking about what are you listening to and give me a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
So lately, being Christmas holidays and a little bit past, I'm still kind of in the Christmas music threshold. Listening to, I'm a big proponent of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I love their Christmas album. I like listening to them. Other than that, I'm real kind of like my brother is going to talk about. I'm very old school. I don't really like a lot of new age Christmas music. I think you during Christmas time you keep it traditional. So I listen to a lot of Frank and a lot of Dean, Irving Berlin, people like that. But yeah, other than that, right after Christmas, I actually started listening to a little regular Frank Sinatra. Just, have some old records of his, so been playing them a little bit. But
did you say Christmas music?
Yeah, I did say Christmas music, but since the holidays, Christmas is over, I've started playing, a little bit of the old school Frank that I got
I see.
on the player. So
I've been listening to Christmas music since probably our last show. I get into Christmas music pretty early in the season, but I don't like just any old Christmas music. I like the classics. I like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Andy Williams, Bing Crosby. Right. I'll get into some of the newer stuff, but not the super new stuff. Like I always like the Wham. Last Christmas and the some of the one Mariah Carey that everybody hates, that everybody can't stand.
All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah, I always like hearing that song.
That's a good song.
Just the super new ones I can't get into, but it's probably because, and those were super new at one time, but it's probably because I grew up with them. I'll do Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Mannheim Steamroller, the instrumental stuff. Without the words, the Christmas music. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually mentioned them. That's usually what I listen to.
Yeah. Trans-Siberians.
Yeah.
I think our brother-in-law Patrick actually went and saw Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Yeah. And I bet that was a really good show. So, I don't like new stuff like Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson Christmas music. I don't.
It's not. For
one thing, if it's an original Christmas song, I really don't like it. Because most of them are just, and if it's a cover or something like Taylor Swift does Last Christmas, I'd rather hear the Wham version.
Right.
I don't need to hear Taylor Swift sing that.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. And I noticed on 92.5, which who starts their Christmas music on Black Friday,
right,
carries it on. I wish they carried it on through the New Year like they used to, but now they cut it off at midnight on Christmas night, I think.
Yeah.
So, but I still like to listen to Christmas music after Christmas, and some people have Christmases, with family up until the New Year. So I don't know why they would cut it off, but now everybody can go to Pandora and find a Christmas station or whatever they need to.
Right.
So I understand it, but one other note that I have is, can we be done with Pentatonics now? Can we, that a cappella group that does all the Christmas songs? I mean, they do more than just the Christmas songs, but like I was listening to my Christmas station on Pandora out in the garage. I was doing something, and they just played, like there was like 4 or 5 songs. I'm like, okay, we get it. You're an a cappella group. You do a cappella music. You make noises like instruments. It's cool. It's good. After I heard the first one, I understood what you were getting at. I understood what you were doing. The Hallelujah, which is not really a Christmas song, but they played at Christmas.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's the only one I need to hear. I'm good with that. Is the a cappella whole fad over? Like,
yeah.
I remember when, Pitch Perfect come out, and like there were like several like a cappella groups that came out and whatever. I mean, are we done with that fad?
Yeah.
Can we be done with them? Because I'm done with them. I get it.
Oh man.
You sing without music. We get it. Okay. Not that he ain't good. Just anyway. Throw the flag. We're gonna throw the flag on something.
Yeah, I actually have one now that you brought it up.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna throw the flag on people in the society who hate the song by Mariah Carey, "I Don't Want a Lot for Christmas," just because social media and everybody else tells you to.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason. You don't actually hate the song. You just do it because everybody else thinks it's cool to hate it. Like, the woman actually, it's a brilliant song. And it's one of the happiest and merriest songs that you could hear during Christmas.
Yeah, it's really good.
So
I enjoy it.
Stop being a poser.
Yeah.
And
it's like when I say I hate Joe Buck. And
yeah.
Like I had this happened last year. Like I posted something about, some playoff game or something last year. It might have been baseball. I posted something about hating Joe Buck, and then somebody's like, "Why you hate Joe Buck?" And then this year sometime I see this person say Joe Buck sucks, and I was like, "Well, you're just saying Joe Buck sucks because everybody else is saying
yeah.
that. I really hate Joe Buck.
Yeah,
I have a deep hatred for him. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not faking it.
Right.
But anyway, that's kind of how it is with the Mariah Carey song.
Yeah.
Like everybody's being told that they need to hate it, so that's what they do, right?
Right.
So, but I actually like it.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a couple Mariah Carey songs off that Christmas album that she did, but that's pretty good. She has I like her voice on any kind of music.
Yeah.
But anyway,
She's got a great voice.
Got a great voice. She when was it last year or a couple years ago? She did New Year's Rockin' Eve, and there was like a technical issue, and she like blew up.
Yeah.
And I was watching it live, and it was like watching a train wreck, right?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't look away. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? But like you could tell how big a diva she was right there, and
Right.
not that she should be, because she's got she is an excellent performer. She got an amazing voice, and if stuff ain't going right, I understand why she got pissed off. But anyway,
I mean, you got to look at it from perspective. She at one point, like, she was in that era where she was right up there with like Whitney Houston.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
It was a battle between her and Mariah Carey. And if you're going to call Whitney Houston one of the best singers of all time, you've got to put Mariah Carey in that category.
Absolutely, she's got all the same tools.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't hate her.
Yeah,
I don't hate her Christmas music. So I'm going to throw the flag on establishments that still only accept cash payment and cash payment only. Now let me say I understand how to differentiate who should and who shouldn't, right? So let's just say, okay, look, if you've got a storefront and you're running a boutique, you should probably accept a credit card, debit card.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's world, I mean, you're going to miss so much. Not only are you putting the customers out, but you're missing out on sales, because if people don't carry cash anymore. So get you a Square and
exactly.
a smartphone. I mean, they're out there. It's not expensive. You can get it. You can accept cards. There's older people who are just opposed 100% to that. But what got me thinking about this is I had a situation where it was only cash thing. Luckily, I had cash, but I was thinking, what if I didn't? And I really want to buy this Christmas gift, and I don't have any cash on me. You say, Josh, you go to the ATM and get some cash. Yeah, sure. But I'm right there. The ATM is 5 miles down the road. Why can't you just accept my card?
Right.
And I'm thinking about like people who side of the road vendors, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can understand side of the road vendor, vegetable stand, fruit stand, the guys who sell firewood on the side of Major Drive, being a cash only business. And now, if you go there, if you're going for those, you probably think to yourself, I probably need to bring a little cash with me.
Right.
If you go to a boutique or an establishment that's got a storefront, they shouldn't look at you stupid when you ask if they take a card.
See, but here's my issue with that, because I don't even think they get away with it. Like the roadside vendors and stuff, and the people at festivals and stuff. Here's why: because HTT Media, we have a square. It took me 3 minutes and 3 days to get that square in.
You know what I was thinking? As soon as I kind of put that example in my head about the guys on the side of Major Drive, I guarantee you them guys got a square.
Yeah.
Because them fancy ass people that they're serving,
Yeah.
they're going to say, can you take a credit card?
Yeah.
They're going to buy a half a cord of wood.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, hey, all I got's a card, and them guys got a square or something.
So, yeah, if you don't know how to do it, you go to square.com, you sign up for it, they send you the little thing in the mail. It takes about 3 to 5 business days. We got ours in 3 days. I pop it in, you pop it into the actual thing on your phone, and you can take cards. You get the app, and it'll go directly into your bank account.
Yeah, it's
simple.
It's awesome. The technology out there. You don't have to send customers away and risking money or risk losing money because you say I'm a cash only business. That's not fair to you or the customer.
Right.
And in the same note, if you're a customer and you do have cash and you go to a small boutique or a small establishment, small local business, and all you've got is hundreds on you, don't. I mean, you might want to think about breaking that 100 before you go to that business. Most local businesses and small boutiques and places of business, they're not going to be able to break your $100 bill. With the cash that they have on hand. So, it's being considerate for each other all the way around, really. And I guess that's what I'm throwing the flag on is vendors and businesses, be considerate of your customers and vice versa, know that person might not have, change in their drawer to change your $100 bill, or if they do, you're going to deplete all their change, and then they're going to go to the bank.
Right.
So why don't you just break it, or go to the bank and break it, or whatever, and save them the time and be courteous. And if you're a business, get you a square and be able to take a card. That way, people who don't carry cash or don't have any cash on them or can't get to the bank, maybe they're in a different city from where their bank's located, they're out of town. Maybe they can purchase what they want to purchase and not have to miss out on it,
Right.
We want to talk about dead Christmas trees and your local angler that needs them to drop in the lake.
Absolutely.
They are currently going door to door. Hello, I'm an angler in your local area, and I wonder if you had a moment to speak about your dead Christmas tree. And our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Since it's the Christmas season.
Yeah,
Yeah. As well as your plans for the disposal of such.
Right.
And then, you think, like I posted the picture that I put on the show post for today. It has a picture of Gollum, and he's under a tree. He's under a boat with a bunch of trees in it, and Gollum saying, "We needs them. We want some. We needs them." So your local angler needs them.
Yeah.
He needs them trees. Y'all give them dead trees and let them drop them in the lake and provide habitats for the fishes so they can go catch them.
That's right.
That's what it's for. What are you going to do with them anyway?
Throw them away.
You're going to throw them away. You're going to take them to Rogers Park, or you're going to take them and throw them out in the woods. So just drop them in somebody's boat.
That's where they need to go.
Or one of our own here at HTT Media has put out.
Yeah.
He wants them. Let him know.
Yeah.
He'll come by and get them, I'm sure, in his boat. He'll just throw them in the back of his boat.
I wonder if he thought about going to Rogers Park.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I had a big bass boat, I would go post up at Rogers Park and just get all I want.
Yeah.
Because when I lived in Beaumont, and I lived in Beaumont for 15 years.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of real trees, and we used to buy real trees.
Right.
We didn't have fake trees. And that's I always took them to Rogers Park. So there was always a big pile. So you can go there and get them. You go there and get them, anglers who have bass boats that I'm envious of.
Yeah.
Because I wish I had a bass boat. But anyway, y'all can y'all give them y'all's trees, and I'm not a real tree guy anymore. We did the real tree
Yeah.
thing. We moved in a new house. We we have super tall ceilings. We got a big, tall, fake tree.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty.
And I built a tree box for it.
Yeah.
And we pull it out and we can decorate it every year, and we don't have to worry about the needles and it drying out and putting water in it. And I'm more about that in my older age.
Super.
Even though I know some people would tell me, why are you buying a fake tree? Christmas ain't fake. That's what my wife told me one time. But anyway, no, Christmas ain't fake, but it's not as big a hassle to go get a tall fake tree that'll last you, 5 to 7 years. And you can just pull out of the attic instead of having to go try to find a tall, expensive. The taller you get your tree, the more expensive it is.
Absolutely.
And the lot we used to go to, they used to, when we weren't poor and we actually made a little bit of money, the trees would come out of Michigan, right? They would come from up north, Upper Peninsula of Michigan or whatever. And they were tall and they were pretty trees, and they were expensive. And, I probably, for 2 years, buying them trees, I could put that money together and buy my expensive fake tree that I'm going to have for 7 years.
Right.
So it paid for itself. Anyway, that's why I'm not a real tree guy, and we like to put up multiple trees now. And they're all fake. They're going to be fake.
Oh, and just so you know, for all you guys out there that are balling on a budget right now, and you're looking for a good Christmas tree, Walmart right now. Don't hesitate. You can get them for 50% off. Have yours for next year.
Lowe's and Home Depot also.
Yeah.
You get a good deal on a Christmas tree right now.
Absolutely.
We did that a couple years. Went for after Christmas sale.
Yeah.
Got a good fake tree. Anyway, that's my fake tree spill.
Yeah.
My real tree spill. Y'all support your local angler. Give them your tree so they can drop it in the lake. Because that's important.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Christmas decorations, when do you take yours down? When does everybody take theirs down?
So, okay, and this is a fight amongst certain people, but my Christmas is actually not over. Hispanics celebrate something called Dia de los Reyes, which is what they call Three Kings Day, and it is on January the 6th. It's when the wise man actually the three kings actually got to the baby Jesus. And you actually celebrate that by you have what we call a Mardi Gras cake. They call it a king cake. There's actually a really pretty Spanish word for it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyways, and then you give gifts that day. So your Christmas, and they also celebrate Christmas. So you celebrate Christmas. It goes into January 6th. So personally, I think the weekend after January 6th is when you should take down your Christmas decorations.
Well, do you want to explain why you would celebrate a Hispanic?
Yes,
because you are definitely people can look at you and tell that you have the least amount of Hispanic blood in you of anybody they've ever seen.
Yes.
So do you want to explain to them why you might be celebrating Hispanic?
My lovely wife Bobby is of Hispanic origin, so
sure.
And her family is, so they all come from what we call the Valley down in South Texas. So
heard of that.
They celebrate their historical traditions, which I'm cool with because I think it's fascinating. So.
And that is really like a brotherhood of people who come from the Valley. Like everyone, I'll tell you a story real quick. I went to Austin to a continuing education class a couple years ago, and there were some Hispanics in there, and they were from all around Texas, but the fact that they were all from the Valley originally,
right?
Like it was like they knew each other,
Now,
and I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just saying that it was like they looked at it as like, okay, you're my people, you're one of my people. So,
well, if you ever look at the idea of Mexico, so Mexico doesn't have like states and stuff; they have regions.
Correct.
And so, a lot of stuff can be told about a person by what region they come from.
Sure.
So, but yeah, Bobby, however, is not from the Valley. Bobby was actually born in Beaumont. So, but her family is.
Yeah,
so,
her family originated from down there. So.
Yeah, so that's why we celebrate it. It's a really fun. You end up finding presents in your shoe. I can explain that some other time, but yeah, it's a cool little tradition. So yeah, Christmas decorations go down after January 6th.
Okay. So, yeah, I take mine down after the first year. I don't.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people in my neighborhood now. I've got a yard display, cutouts. I've got lights on my house. I've got 2 Christmas trees in the house. Bunch of decoration. My wife does a really good job in the inside the house decorating.
Right.
And I've got so much stuff out, and a lot of it is pretty hard stuff to put out and put up.
Yeah.
So I can't see getting in such a hurry. But I do know people in my neighborhood that took their decorations down on Christmas night, like Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah.
They were pulling it down. And a lot of people already got them down right now, and I'm still running my lights and stuff because I'm going to run them until I take them down. I don't see the point not. And because there's still party people out there that have come in for Christmas to visit relatives, and they're doing Christmas, and they'd like to go out and look at lights that are still up.
Right.
And I just think that I should leave them out until I decide, or until after the first year when I take them down, and I should keep them lit up. So, but I normally wait till after the first year.
Well, and if you do like you're real big into the clear lights.
Uh-huh.
If you do those type of lights, they kind of work for Christmas and New Year's.
They do.
So I mean, I don't see a problem with that. Now, color lights and stuff like that, that's a little different. Like, but I think the answer to that is just you do you. Like,
well, another reason I like to leave mine up is, I mean, my yard display, I personally did myself.
right. Proud of it.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Like, I cut those out myself, and I decorated them myself. I painted them and everything. And so I'm proud. I'm going to add next year. If you've never seen it, and I post, there's a little picture of it on the thing because I just used my own picture on the page. It's the scene where Buddy the elf is leaving the North Pole, and the ice kind of breaks, and he starts floating off, and the narwhal comes up, and the Arctic puffin starts crying, and the narwhal says, "Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad."
Bye, buddy.
Yeah.
Hope you find your dad.
And I was gonna add something to it. I was gonna add Leon the snowman. And,
Okay.
I didn't get to do it this year. I'm gonna do it next year, and a couple signs that say some quotes from the movie.
There you go.
Gonna add that. It's only gonna get bigger. We're gonna start doing some different things with it. But anyway, so since I did all that, and I did it myself, I want to leave them up as long as people can look at them because I want people to come by that appreciate them and like them and be able to get to see them. So after the first year for me on everything, and I always dread it because it's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll move on to we're not going to do a top 5 tonight. We're going to do our New Year's resolutions. Just talk about them. We don't have to get specific.
Right.
We're going to talk about how you celebrate New Year's. Personal and work related or business. I think my personal and I'm sure this is a lot of people's is to get healthier and lose some weight.
Yeah.
COVID. Not that I hadn't gained a lot of weight before then, but COVID definitely. With you being off, and we had a different work schedule during COVID where we were off a little bit. We did like a split schedule thing, so you end up sitting at home a lot. So sitting at home, you're eating, you're not as active, you're not moving around as much. You're going to gain a little weight. That's natural. And I think everybody has a little COVID weight still on them, and I think hopefully 2022 is the year that we all get our COVID weight off.
I'm hoping so.
So that go to church more, get back into church, and at a higher capacity than what I am now.
Right.
I think that's important. That's one of my personal goals. Stay busier. Don't have so much personal downtime at home. Like, there's so much stuff to do, and I found myself in the last couple of years, making excuses to put stuff off.
Right.
And I have so much stuff. I have a list of stuff at home that I could do, that I could be busy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take a break, but you also shouldn't do what I've gotten in the habit of doing a lot and just make an excuse that this is my rest day. I need to sit down and I don't need to worry about that today. I'll put it off. And that's how you get behind on your duties and your stuff that you're supposed to do for you and for your family and your stuff at home. And that's a personal one of mine for sure. In my work my work life, I recently got a new position at work, and I want to refocus on taking in some training and some where I'm in a transitional period. So I'm going to have to take in some training for the first time in a long time and, take on some more responsibility and go back to work but
I don't know why.
And I don't know. And so I look forward to that in the coming year and looking forward to focusing on that. In focusing on that, you have to make it a priority. You have to make things that you want to do and that you need to do a priority for you. So I need to make it a bigger priority to focus on work a little bit more. Than not outside of work hours, but during work hours. I need to be more productive at work and more productive in work. So what about you, John? What you got?
So personal life, obviously you nailed one, lose a little weight. This year I'm going to try my best to start working on my house a little more.
Yeah.
For all those who don't know, I bought a fixer upper. And I want to try to get that, in a better looking shape and condition. I want to, business wise, personal wise, also spend a little bit more time with the wife, make some memories there. And then business wise, I want to be able to, by the end of the year, make HTT Media a success. That's my biggest goal. Branch out, acquire new customers, acquire more people viewing our shows, help the community.
Sure. We've already got a good start on that.
Yeah.
You're making some moves to do that. So.
Yeah. But other than that, that's about it.
Yeah. We at my house, New Year's, we don't ever go to big New Year's parties or anything like that. And I'll tell you why. Earlier in my career and early when we were married, I was low man on the totem pole, so I was on call a lot.
Right.
And being on call a lot means you were on call a lot for holidays, and seemed like I was on call every New Year's Eve. And so we just didn't ever plan to do anything because we knew New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving specifically, are bad. If you're in a municipality environment and you're on call, they're just bad times to be on call because a lot of family gatherings, a lot of people at other people's houses that break things or run over things or,
right.
or stop things up or,
right.
Have issues. So it's a rough time. Christmas, not so much, but Thanksgiving and New Year's is definitely a hard time to be on call in the municipality.
Right.
So y'all appreciate them guys if they have to come out for you for sure. But that's why we don't do anything. It's because we just historically haven't done anything because of that. But obviously in the last 8-10 years or so, I haven't had to do that as much. But you get into a habit of just not making it a big deal. Yeah. And we always sit at home. We always watch New Year's Rockin' Eve, but we kind of use it as just a chill day and chill out and go to bed early or stay up and fall asleep on the couch and get up and go to bed,
Yeah.
Because you're off the next day. So it's not like it's a big deal to stay up a little bit late. A lot of times my wife, Nicole, doesn't make it to midnight, but
yeah.
That's okay.
That's what we do.
You don't have to make it a big deal.
I mean, normally we sit at the house, and I'm known to make a good smothered cabbage with andouille sausage in it.
Yeah.
And so the black-eyed peas and the cornbread, and we just kind of sit around, we eat our meal, and we just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
if you've got kids and a family too, that's another. I mean, you just kind of enjoy each other and reflect on the past year and get ready for the new one, and maybe even talk about your family goals and stuff like that. Before the kids get too tired or before they lose interest and go to their rooms and stuff. So not now. I'm not saying I'm not up for to ever go to a party or whatever, but I mean we're just those kind of people. That's what we're going to do. We're going to sit at the house. We're going to chill out. We're not going to make a big deal about it. That's just what we do.
Absolutely.
But, anyway, we're going to close this thing out. Speaking of New Year's, y'all have a happy New Year coming up. We're not going to see you till after the New Year. We're going to see you next year. So y'all have a happy New Year. Celebrate safely. If you do go out, there are plenty of options out there now, way more than when we were even younger and going to parties and stuff. Uber, Lyft. There's no reason, there's no excuse to be out there on the roads driving around after having drinks.
Right.
Or being impaired at all. So y'all be safe out there. Y'all be cautious and think about other people, and y'all watch other people and help them out if you feel like they need it. And and like I said, just be safe and enjoy the time with your family and make good plans for the next year and reflect on the past year. And hopefully 2022 will be good for all of us, be good to all of us. Y'all be sure to catch our other shows this week. Do we have...
I think we're done for the week. I think
we're done for the week. We're going to be the only show on this week. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a weird week in between Christmas and New Year. So, but, y'all look for us next week. We'll be back.
Full
schedule. And we may do a short live from the Texas Bowl. Y'all look for that. I'll post something out if I plan on doing it. That's on Tuesday. And I'm going to head over there early to Houston and probably try to hit up my favorite restaurant over there, Babin's Seafood House, and have a little late lunch or something, and then go over to the game and enjoy that. I don't know who I'll have with me yet, but I'll have somebody, and we may do a live over there.
There you go.
Any upcoming events you want to hit on, John? You got a chili cook-off coming up?
Yeah, the chili cook-off. We'll get some information about that next week. But yeah, just stay tuned to HTT Media for all your news and updates.
Be looking for that live from the Texas Bowl, and tune in next week. We're going to have we'll have Justin back, and we're going to do our trophy presentation for our Rolling on the Field Fantasy League. Have some more updates for our local sports and national and things. So until then, I want to wish y'all a Happy New Year. Me and John behind the fake ass class back there, we're going to wish you a Happy New Year. Y'all be safe, and we'll see you next year. And until then, the Rolling on the Field stands.